All right, Shalom, Yabashim Shabbat. It's Isupk, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. If you could bear with me one minute. Share this live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, whatever live stream that you got that's readily available. Share this live. You understand? This class is very important for the nation of Israel to hear as a whole, as well as all classes held by the Isupk under Commander General Yohana. All right. Bear with me 1 second. Get the water. Got it. All right, we got these lives up. YouTube, Facebook running. It's running smooth. Okay. Let me see if I can get. Can you send me that link? Either one, Facebook or YouTube. Can you just text it to my phone? All right. Okay. And we're gonna get into it here in a second. If anyone have any questions, go ahead, get their questions ready. Type your questions into the chat. If there are any questions, we'll start off with all questions. Ain't come through yet. I know, swear, I'll see it when it comes through. Let's see here. Tell you what, I'm gonna try to get up on this. They talking about the JFK assassination. I'm gonna get up on this. This space is up on Twitter. You heard about that yet? Oh, you ain't even on Twitter, is you? Yeah, I'm gonna get up on this space. I guess it's like Clubhouse. Let me see. Yeah, these topics. Folder rep. All right. We're gonna go ahead and begin. If I could, you understand, if I could get Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1, we're gonna start there. Any questions, to go to type the questions in the chat throughout. You understand the whole class. We'll get it answered as soon as possible. Put this up here. Mic is off. Find tweet, sharing your space. And today's topic, we're gonna get into MLK, man. We're gonna go into MLK, man, and these archives in this Bible and see, you understand exactly what, you understand, if MLK's dream was what black people should have been following, man, during the civil rights movement. We're gonna see You understand who Martin Luther King truly was and what he truly was and is. You understand, for black people. You understand, whether Martin Luther King is a good thing. You understand, for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, or if Martin Luther King is a cancer. You understand,
That's
that
right.
has further destroyed black people in America. You understand,
Damn right.
because America, you understand, in America we have this love infatuation with Martin Luther King. You understand, we praise Martin Luther King. We love him on his day. We don't go to school on his day. You understand, to the point where we've made Martin Luther King a god. You understand, how do you know we've made Martin Luther King a god? Well, Martin Luther King has holidays after him. You understand, he has a holiday for his birthday, which is a holy day, man, a day that is separate from every other day, man. And that day is used to worship Martin Luther King, man. You understand? But Martin Luther King is the worst thing for black people, man.
That's right.
You understand? He was terrible for black people. He helped destroy black people, man, and he left you here to wonder what should we do next. You understand? Martin Luther King didn't even believe in his own damn speeches, man, his own damn movements.
It's the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2 and verse 1.
Uh-huh.
Gather yourselves together.
Uh-huh.
Yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
Gather together, oh nation not desired, man. You understand? Martin Luther King, his movement was sought out to be a movement for blacks, you understand, and minorities and low-income families to come together and to fight for equality and equal justices in a place that there was none. We're in a place where there was nothing but a history of slavery and, you understand, a current racism that was so strong that black children couldn't even get a proper education, that black children couldn't even get, you understand, proper transportation to go to and fro. You understand? And so his movement was sought to be something that was supposed to rid America of the alleged racism that they had against black people. You understand? But Martin Luther King's dream, you understand, that his movement was absolutely horrendous and treacherous to the lives of blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians.
That's right.
You understand? And now, why do I say this? Right? Because on the surface, right? On the surface, you look at Martin Luther King as if Martin Luther King is a great pastor, a nice guy. I mean, just remember all the videos you've seen of him and how he stood up there on those what you call them? Podiums. And he talked and he said, I have a dream and this, that, and the third. And remember those videos you used to watch of this man and how you reverenced him, man. How you looked at him like, yo, this is the next thing. You understand, the next greatest thing next to Christ. Right. That's what you looked at Martin Luther King as. Like, this is the next thing to Christ right here. You understand? You put his pictures all on your walls.
Right.
You had every Martin Luther King quote you could find. You understand? And just to come and find out that this man, you understand, that this man that we reverenced for years and years and years and made a holiday after his name and built the damn, what is it, 65-foot statue?
God, something crazy
Some
amount.
65-foot statue in Washington, D.C., man, is a traitor.
That's right.
To black people, man.
Damn right.
He's a traitor and never had good intentions for us to live, man. Never had good intentions, man. And we gonna get into it, man. We gonna get into it. But the scriptures is telling black people to gather together. What Martin Luther King did that goes against what this is telling us is that he went against, you understand, the book. He went against the very book that is teaching us or ordering us what to do. You understand? This Bible is telling blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians to gather together. You understand? But this Bible isn't a book of references and good stories.
Right.
And you understand, good lines that you should read and take from and use this when you need something and use that when you need something. This book in its entirety is the law for blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians.
That's
man.
right.
This book in its entirety is our Constitution.
That's right.
This is how we live. This is who we look at. This is how we look at other nations. This is how we deal with other nations. This is the laws in having servants. This is the laws in what we eat. This is the laws in what we drink and who we sleep with and how we talk to one another.
It's like, are you using your laptop for any streaming?
Why?
No,
The
sir.
Wi-Fi?
It's just, yeah, on YouTube it looks like shit.
Let me turn this
Salakia.
off. Let me turn that off.
Yeah, whatever you can take off. I'm saying could help a little bit with the
I should
bandwidth.
have brought that. I'll tell you what I could do. I'll tell you what I could do. 1 second. Give me 1 second, Baba Shah.
Yeah.
Turn on this.
I can read Zephaniah from the top.
Okay.
This is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, and verse 1. Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired. Verse 2. Before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as the chaff, before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you. Verse 3. Seek ye the Lord, all ye meek of the earth, which have wrought his judgment. Seek righteousness. Seek meekness.
Seek what?
Seek meekness.
Seek meekness, man. Seek righteousness. This is what Martin Luther King did. And I don't know what's going on with this, but I ain't gonna mess around with it. We're gonna just cut the live on this one. So this is off now.
Okay, that probably will help.
All right.
A lot by itself. Yeah, you don't gotta worry about it. Just we got a lot of things using the bandwidth.
Okay. You understand? So what Martin Luther King didn't do, you understand, is that he didn't seek out righteousness, man.
That's right.
He didn't go like his whole movement wasn't about what the Lord wanted. You understand? Out of this book. His whole movement wasn't about what Christ taught, how Christ intended for us to live, how Christ intended for us to revolt against our oppressor.
That's right.
He gave us a movement out of his own heart.
That's right.
Understand? Out of his own desire. And that is where Martin Luther King became a traitor to black people, man.
That's right.
Because any man who decides to go against this book is a friend to our enemies,
That's
man.
right.
You understand? He is a weapon of our enemy, man.
Right.
And they use him to destroy us, right? So now read that one more time,
from the top.
God.
The book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, and verse 1. Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
This Bible ain't gonna tell you to gather together and then march.
Right.
It don't say that. You understand? This Bible don't say gather together and hold up signs and say Black Lives Matter. It don't say that. You understand? Nowhere in this book does it reference what Martin Luther King is teaching. But yet Martin Luther King holds this book when he teaches. Martin Luther King used this book to reference his preaching, to reference his movement.
Right.
You understand? But this Bible does not coincide with what Martin Luther King got black people to do during the civil rights movement.
That's right.
It doesn't go hand in hand. You understand? Keep going.
Come. Verse 2. Before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as the chaff. Slakia. Before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you.
Before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you, man. We better get off of this Martin Luther King. We better get off of this Christianity and this nonsense that these pastors and these black leaders, man, have put on us, man. And we better start to wake up to the truth of the Bible.
That's right.
You understand? We better start to wake up to the truth that we don't have the right to be able to, you understand, live how we want to live or to do things how we want to do it. You understand? Because there's a power that is more mightier than Donald Trump.
That's right.
There's a power that is more mightier than China and America put together.
That's right.
Times 10, man.
Damn right.
And he will be obeyed.
That's
you understand? One way or another, he will be obeyed. Whether 1,000 Martin Luther Kings have to die before you understand. You understand? Christ is the only king still standing. Martin Luther King dead and gone, man.
That's right.
You understand? He dead and gone, and his movement did not save black people. It didn't do anything for black people. It only destroyed us, man. And so we better start preparing ourselves for what is coming, man. Because listening to Martin Luther King will have us just chasing what, man? Chasing holding hands.
Right.
That's what we looking for. This is what we go to church for. We go to church to is looking better now.
Way better.
Most
And we
High
got more
Christ.
views.
Most High
Got
Christ.
everything up. It's streaming on your joint too.
Okay.
Salaki.
You understand? We go on to church and we go on to church to see about God and to see about what we supposed to do.
Right.
You understand? Which is what people do. People in biblical times did the same thing. When they had problems, you understand? When they had demons on them or they was going through hard times, what did they do? They went to the priest for help. They went to the priest to find out what. They wanted to see, what does God say about this? You understand? If I have a condition of blood, they want to see, what does God say about this? What does the Lord say about this, man? You understand? And during slavery time, during the civil rights movement, you understand, we asking the same thing. We going into them churches, man.
Right.
We going into the cathedrals, man, and we asking them pastors, what are we supposed to do, man? What would God have his children do? What would God have us do, man? And that wicked bastard, man, opened up that book and he looked at these words and he said, God would have us march. Where in the Bible, it's not there. He said, God would have us hold hands with our enemy. Where in the Bible, it's not there. It says the complete opposite. And he fooled the minds of blacks, Hispanics, and
That's right,
Indians, man. And in this class, we're gonna show you how much he fooled us, man. How much Martin Luther King has fooled black people, man, and has destroyed the house of the nation of Israel, man, with his foolishness and his idiocracy, man. It's so dumb. It's so dumb what Martin Luther King believed in. Martin Luther King's movement was so dumb.
That's right.
You understand? People in the South didn't even. Do you know how much convincing it took for people to actually stand with this idiot?
Right.
It took a lot of convincing because what he pushed in the beginning, it sounded like it was stupid. It didn't make sense to nobody.
Right.
It's not like our brains now is just finally like our frontal lobes producing more percentage of it. They thought the same thing.
That's right.
Like, what do you mean?
Right.
March into Beverly Hills. What the hell does that even? How do you come up with this?
Right.
You understand? And they had to do so much convincing and teaching and preaching and forcing and witchcraft on blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians for us to be able to just be so subdued to the point where we can. You got that?
God.
That's that Martin Luther King.
God.
You understand? Subdued us to the point we would be so weak, man. And then his movement would just be so justified for us, man.
Right.
And with his words and the way that he talked, man,
right.
he just seemed like a pastor, man.
Right.
Like a pimp, like somebody who could just sway you into doing anything, man. And it's so disgusting, man. Read it, the last of that.
Come. Before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you. Verse 3, seek ye the Lord, all ye meek of the earth.
Seek the Lord, man. Don't seek Martin Luther King, man.
That's right.
You understand? Because Martin Luther King, and I understand this, right? Because people will say, well, why are you following after Commander General Yohana then, right? Why are you not seeking after the Lord? We seeking after the Lord, man, because Commander General Yohana teaches what's in this book.
That's right.
You understand? Commander General Yohana, he don't hold the book and then say, read me Zephaniah chapter 2 and 1. And God said to be good to your neighbors and to love everybody.
Right.
That ain't in there. You understand? We read these scriptures, man, verbatim from this book, man, and we don't add or change nothing from it, man. And this book is perfect, man. It's perfect for blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. It's like this book, like the best mac and cheese in the hood.
Right.
You ain't got to take nothing away.
Damn right.
You ain't got to add nothing to it. It's just perfect, man. And you don't got to change nothing. But of course, so there's like Martin Luther King come in your ear, he say, you know that mac and cheese, man. You know it tastes a little bit better if you use more of that white cheese. And you get to thinking like, really?
Right.
The way he put it made it sound
right,
like
right.
so good. Understand the whole time, man. It's disgusting, man. You understand? But keep going.
Don't come. Seek ye the Lord, all ye meek of the earth, which have wrought his judgment. Seek righteousness.
Seek what?
Seek righteousness.
Seek righteousness, man. Seek righteousness. Seek what first of all, you gotta understand what is righteousness unto the Lord, man.
Right.
That's what you gotta first understand.
Damn right.
You gotta go into the Bible. You gotta see, man, what is righteousness, man? Is it because this man wears a suit that mean he righteous? Or is it because he talks soft that mean he righteous? Well, because I know he believes in one wife. That mean he righteous, man. That's a righteous brother, right? You understand? Martin Luther King did all of those things, and we looked at him as righteous. Martin Luther King believed in having a marriage and a wife and a ring on the finger and saying the vows to Coretta Scott. He believed in all of that. You understand? That didn't stop him from sleeping with every white woman he could get his hands on.
That's right.
You understand? But so what are we looking for? What are we searching for? What are our sisters looking for when they look for a man? What is a brother looking for when they look for a woman? What is black people looking for when we're trying to rid ourselves of oppression? You understand? We should be looking for righteousness, man. Men who is going to follow this law. Men who is not going to eat shrimp, crab, pork, and lobster.
That's right.
Men who is not going to teach you to love and enjoy your oppressor, man. That's what we're not supposed to be looking for, because it's not in this Bible. This book doesn't say to do that. So why are we doing it?
That's right.
Why are we listening to a man who is going against the words that's in this book that we believe in?
That's right.
You understand? How stupid are you? How stupid can we become? That we believe in a book and a man come and tell you something the complete opposite in the book, and then you choose to believe in him. Good night. Keep going.
Come. Salakia. Seek righteousness. Seek meekness. It may be ye shall be hid in the day of the Lord's anger.
You should be hid in the day of the Lord's anger, man. That's the day that we should be preparing for. Not MLK Day. You understand? Is there any questions, anything online?
Check the
before we get on to the topic.
Nothing on any of the Facebooks or the YouTube.
I ain't no sweat.
Okay.
Give me Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14 and verse 14. We're gonna get into who Martin Luther King really was, man. You understand? And why Martin Luther King is not like Christ, man. You understand? Christ, when Christ rolled on the earth, man, Christ came from a poor family, man. He grew up poor, man. You understand? Didn't have nothing. Okay. Chapter 14 and 14. It's like it. You understand? Didn't have nothing. Martin Luther King didn't grow up poor, man. That is a big, like, and that's something that I it's hard for me to understand why we look at this man with such reverence as if he grew up like us, man. Martin Luther King's father was famous. He was an aristocrat, man, a famous preacher who had a big church, who people just loved his father, man. And of course, he raised up Martin Luther King to be who he is, man. Of course, Martin Luther King's name was Michael Luther King. You understand? He later changed his name to Martin Luther King because it sounded better. You understand? All of this was a plot for Martin Luther King to become who he was, right, and which was going to lead to the further destruction of blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians.
You
understand? Read what you got.
This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14 and verse 14. For by the vain glory of men, they entered into the world.
By the vain glory of men, they entered into the world. What does this mean? The vain glory of men. You understand? The vain glory of men is you want to take a shot?
Like if I made, let me just mean like, the vain glory of men just means, the regular people appreciated them. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't, the glory of the Most High. Right. It was the vain glory of men. It's vain. You think you all puffed up, think you great, but really it's just earthly men giving you props.
Right. Meaning everyone loved Senior, MLK. Everyone loved his father, man. This was a type of man who was loved. People admired him. People reverenced him.
Right.
People came to him for help. You understand, with questions of God. This is somebody that everyone loved. And because of his popularity, you understand, was born Martin Luther King. Because of his popularity, in which it means nothing. How do you correlate that today, right? Michael Jordan's sons is a product of the scripture. And you only realize it, right, because they suck at basketball. They don't suck, right? They made it to college.
In
They
context,
played,
God.
right? They'll not when I say that they suck at basketball, I mean they're Michael Jordan's children.
Right.
Right? They are the sons of the greatest basketball player to ever walk the face of the planet Earth.
Right.
But they suck. They
Right.
couldn't make it to the NBA.
To the NBA, right?
You understand? But is it their fault that they suck? I understand what you're gonna say. Yeah, they should have practiced more, right?
No, actually, no, I don't. I was,
But but on that level, the fact that someone thinks there are people in this place that think, damn, Michael Jordan's son suck. People say this.
of course.
Whereas in their minds, they're probably like, I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted I wanted to I don't know.
Right.
I wanted to play golf. I didn't even really want to do this.
Right.
Whatever. Is it their fault that people say Michael Jordan's sons? Damn, they suck. No, it's not their fault. But it's the read it one more time.
God.
Mm-hmm.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14 and verse 14.
Uh-huh.
For by the vain glory of men,
But by vain glory of men. You understand? They put this glory on Michael Jordan's sons
Right.
for what?
right.
For what reason? They walk into the gym and they walk into AAU and everybody like, there's MJ's sons right there. For what? Look, they suck. They're not as good as you. They're not as good as Derrick Rose.
Right.
They're not as good as good night. Westbrook. They're not as good as LeBron James or whoever, man.
They're not as
Zion
good as
Williams.
Anybody
That's in the league. They're not as good as them. But you know, when they walked in the court,
Yeah.
everybody said, that's MJ's sons right
Right, right.
That's them. I remember even playing basketball, right? Everybody would say, that's CP3 team. That's CP3 team. And I remember just thinking, like, what the hell does that mean?
Right.
Like, that's CP3's team. What the hell does that mean? But because of the glory that CP3 has,
Right.
people automatically think this is the way to go.
Right.
This is the glorified team.
Right.
This is the best team. And of course, because of the glory that Martin Luther King's father had, they automatically think what? We should listen to MLK.
Right.
This junior. We should listen to him, even though he's a disgusting bastard.
That's right.
Now, is it Martin Luther King's fault that he really just wanted to have orgies with white women? But now everyone has to look at him like a traitor. Is it really his fault? Or was Martin Luther King born like Michael Jordan's sons?
Right.
Where he really just wanted to just have sex with everybody. He probably wanted to be a porn star.
Right.
Damn it. But of course, because of this vainglory,
Right.
and everyone coming to the church and saying, Martin Luther, you're going to be just like your father
Right.
one day.
Damn.
You're going to be a great pastor one day, man. We can't
Right.
wait for you to grow up. And one day you're going to be this, that, and the third. And of course, this boy is just staring off at breastises and white women and Chinese women. And he has every magazine in his room. And his whole idea of life is just to be an orgy-filled monster.
Right.
And now he can't openly just be
Right.
like, imagine if Martin Luther King wasn't Martin Luther King. Would anyone ever talk about his orgy? No, nobody would even care. It'd be some nigga who just
Right.
loves having orgies in hotel rooms with white women.
Right.
I'm saying this because it happened. I'm
Right.
saying this because Martin Luther King had orgies with white women as a practice.
Damn right.
You understand what you got?
Hey, Salakia, brother. What you saying is so heavy. Because if anything, it was the fact that he was a pastor that he like you said, like the real him just wanted to have orgies with white women.
Right.
But if not for the fact that he was Martin Luther King, it would have been harder for him to do it. Like because they may not have wanted to go into the Watergate Hotel with regular Michael King,
Right.
but he used being Martin Luther King Jr. to even have access to the white women and Chinese women in the Watergate Motel. So I guess it worked out for him in the end.
Right. So what would Martin Luther King do? Is he just gonna be? He's gonna say, "Hey, Dad, you know what? I know you want me to be a pastor and all. However, I just want to sleep with white women. I'm gonna just try my luck over here." You understand? Or Martin Luther King, he's seen what? He's seen the gain in this.
Right.
He had them preachers, them sermons or whatever, and he's seen how them ladies came and dropped at his feet, and he said, "Oh man,
Right.
oh man, oh man." Not again. And he took it and ran, man. But he probably didn't want to do that, man. He really just wanted to have orgy sex and run naked in hotel rooms, lobbies. That's what he really wanted to be. But because of the vain glory of men, because of what the world looked at as glorified, because what we see as special, and this is what we do all the time. We look at a name and we say, oh, his son is going to be something great.
Right.
Who says that?
Right.
You understand? Oh, she going to be something special. When then she grows up and is the biggest prostitute in New York. Of all of New York, she is the biggest prostitute ever. But someone as a child said her mother is Mayor Jenningsworth. She gonna be something special. That's you understand? And that is what is happening with Martin Luther King, man. His father was a very powerful preacher. He has a son. He names him Michael Luther King, and they raise him up to be this political figure for black people. You understand? Of course, changed his name to Martin Luther King, and then they start him on his journey of his career path and preaching and doing sermons and things like that. Eventually, prepping him to become the mouthpiece or the voice for all black people in the South. You understand? Keep going.
Shalakia. And therefore shall they come shortly to an end.
And there, read it from the top.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14 and verse 14. But by the vain glory of men, they entered into the world.
By the vain glory of men, they enter into the world. So this is how Martin Luther King came. Keep going.
And therefore shall they come shortly to an end.
And therefore shortly shall Martin Luther King come to an end.
That's right.
You understand why? Because all the glory of the man, all the glory in the world that a man could give you cannot withstand the wrath that the Most High is going to put down on you.
That's right.
For going against him. All the glory that you can have from crowds and thousands and millions of people screaming your name, MLK, MLK, cannot hide you from the judgment that the Lord is going to bring down on you for destroying his people, man. You understand? And this is what is happening with Martin Luther King. Is that it on that?
Shalakia. Let me check verse 15. Let's end on that.
Keep go to verse 15.
Shalakia. Verse 15. For a father afflicted with untimely mourning.
For a father afflicted with untimely mourning. Let me ask you a question. What year? I mean, I don't want to go into too specific, right? Who buried who? Did Martin Luther King's father bury him? Or did Martin Luther King bury his father? Who buried who? Who died first? Remember, Martin Luther King was born into this world. You understand?
Martin Luther King Jr. died first.
Martin Luther King died first. I think Martin Luther King's father died in like 1986. 84, right? But Martin Luther King had to bury his son. You understand? Read that one more time.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14 and verse 15. For a father afflicted with untimely mourning.
His father was inflicted with untimely mourning. Meaning what? He wasn't supposed to bury his son.
Right.
His son was supposed to bury him.
That's right.
But because of his wickedness and because of who he was, he had to, you understand, his father had to bury him. Keep going.
When he hath made an image of his child soon taken away.
He did what?
Hath made an image of his child soon taken away.
They made an image of Martin Luther King. They made him an image, man. They made Martin Luther King to be like unto a god. You understand? And what that image went against Christ, man. That image went against the Most High and against the Bible. And so the Lord took that away. Keep going.
Now honored him as a god.
They now honored him as a god. You understand? Building 65-foot statues of this man. Putting pictures in every single black house in America of him. Holding the whole day holy unto his name. They imaged him as a god, man. Keep going.
Which was then a dead man.
Which was what?
Then a dead man.
This God who once was a God, who once was able to walk into any city in America, Eventually, he was just a dead man laying in some motel
That's right.
in Memphis. Eventually, that was the end of that.
Con.
You understand? He was one day ago. He was MLK, and the next day he's just some dead man who is dead, and no one can ever hear him speak anymore because he's gone. And this is the price that they had to pay for their wickedness. Keep going.
Con.
Mm-hmm.
And delivered to those that were under him
Uh-huh.
ceremonies and
And
sacrifices.
did what?
And delivered to those that were under him
Mhm.
ceremonies and sacrifices.
And they delivered unto him ceremonies and sacrifices, man. This is what happened after Martin Luther King's death. You understand? Drop that. Go to let me see. You got all of the videos and the yeah, we're gonna go to one of those. I think I want the what was it called? Not the Insider, the Atlantic. I think I want the Atlantic first. Again, if anybody have any questions at any time, just go ahead and type it in the chat.
Daily Mail, Insider. Then I see the MLK YouTube. I don't see one in the Atlantic.
Just type in.
See the orgies one. The orgies one.
Nah.
Spits, and then the
Just
MLK
type-
interview on YouTube.
Just type MLK effing for God.
Where do I type this on YouTube?
No, on Google. It's gonna be an article.
Okay.
It's gonna get real.
Okay.
It's gonna get real in here. Martin Luther King was a disgusting bastard, man. He was nasty, and I don't mean like in a way of, that brother, he did what he did. You understand? I mean in a way that was heinously disgusting. It was nasty. Even in private, it was like something that, why would you do this? It's no sweat. You understand? You got the article?
I got it.
Let's go ahead.
I'm gonna get it up on the screen, and also I'm gonna show everybody online so they can see that this is something we made up.
Let's read that.
Okay. Slovakia. Share the screen. Well, actually, I don't want them to clip our joint, so y'all can just it's in the Atlantic, theatlantic.com. You can find this article.
MLK effing for God. You'll see it pop up.
The title of the article is "Moreover, Please Stop the MLK Worship" by Ta-Nehisi Coates, who's actually very famous. So let me read this. This is "Moreover, Please Stop the MLK Worship" by Ta-Nehisi Coates. It says, "I love Martin Luther King. He is a personal hero to me, but we need to get real when we talk about him. Fools need to confront the fact that here was a dude with the future on his shoulder who was careless enough to be taped repeatedly having extramarital sex."
Good night. Keep going.
God. Let me, Salakia, y'all need to see this. Salakia.
What is it?
No, I'm saying I need everybody to
Oh yeah, you gotta put this up.
I gotta put it on the screen. Salakia. Hopefully they don't there we go. Ooh.
Good night.
Want to know what could undo all the good? Salakia. What could undo all the good you did getting arrested in a suit? By being taped by J. Edgar Hoover in the throes of sex with a white woman who isn't your wife, yelling, "I'm not a Negro tonight."
So this man, right, who we reverence as a hero, Martin Luther King, who had a wife, Coretta Scott King, a black woman, you understand, who went through the same oppression that he went through, who was fighting for the same justice that he was fighting for, supposedly, who was living in the same, in the same skin that he was living in. supposed to be his partner, till death do they part, for better or for worse, and for all those other vows that they said in that ceremony. He was out there doing what?
Being taped by J. Edgar Hoover in the throes of sex with a white woman who isn't your wife, yelling, "I'm not a Negro tonight."
He's having sex with white women, screaming, "I am not a Negro tonight.
Ooh wee.
Tonight, I am a white man." You understand? This is what Martin Luther King really wanted. This is what he really wanted. And this is what a lot of famous people really want. You think that they're fighting for equal justices and equal rights, but really they're not fighting for the attempt of equality. They're fighting so that for one night they can feel like a white person.
That's right.
That's what they're fighting for. They're looking at restaurants and neighborhoods and designer stores and department stores that only white people can go into, and they send you to battle to get sicked on by dogs and spit on and hosed on for one night so that they can walk into Louis Vuitton and then they can feel like a white person. They can feel sophisticated and made anew. And they can say what? While they're in the hotel room having sex with little Betty or Lucy,
"I'm not a Negro tonight."
they can say, "I'm not a Negro tonight," with that Louis Vuitton belt on. "I'm not a Negro tonight." And this is what they're fighting for. How do you know? What white people have is expensive. Have you ever thought about this? Why would we fight? You understand? I'm gonna put it to you in simple terms, right? Beverly Hills. That's a well-known, dominantly, majority white city.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not city, neighborhood, right? There's a bunch of rich white people who got these big houses, and you can't drive a Monte Carlo through there. You can't. You can't drive what's some other cars that they be having? A Hoopty or a broken down Honda Civic without the cops being called on you. This is that type of neighborhood. These houses are millions of dollars worth in value. So let's say that Beverly Hills was off limits to niggas, right? Black people cannot purchase a house in Beverly Hills. It was completely segregated. You cannot go in there without permission. If you're there and you're black, then you have to have some kind of permission to be there. Otherwise, you're going to jail for trespassing in a neighborhood that is segregated. And so Martin Luther King sends you to go and protest and get arrested and get beaten and dog sicked on you so that one day he can be up in some Beverly Hills mansion having sex with some white woman saying what?
"I'm not a Negro tonight."
I'm not a Negro tonight. But here's the point that you got to understand. What sense does it make for you to fight for something that you can't even afford? What sense does that make? You can't afford to buy luxury vehicles from white people. You can't afford to stay in rich white hotels. You can't afford to live in Beverly Hills. You can't afford it. You can't afford the private schools that they offer their children that cost $30,000 a year to send your children to. You can't afford it. So what is the point? Go back and look at every video that you've seen with black men and women and children being arrested and dogs sicked on them and being beaten by police, and tell me which one of those people can afford a Louis Vuitton suit. Which one of those people can afford to buy a house in Beverly Hills or to buy a nice, you understand, foreign vehicle? Which one of those people can afford it? The things that these leaders, that are leaders that Martin Luther King was fighting for or had us fighting for, was things that it wasn't even for us. We weren't fighting so that white people will give over their rights to NBC. We weren't fighting so that our oppressor would give over the rights to Fortune 500,000 $1 million companies so that black people could be rich. We weren't fighting for the wealth of black people. We were fighting for the acceptance of rich black people to be able to go live out their fantasies in white neighborhoods, to be able to live out their fantasies with white women, and to live their fantasies in white hotel rooms screaming, what? One more time.
I'm not a Negro tonight.
That's what you fought for. That's what you marched for. This is what you marched for. You had dogs sicked on you and got spit on so that Martin Luther King can sleep with some white woman and scream, I'm not a Negro tonight, while Coretta Scott King is at home hoping that he doesn't get shot, hoping that this is the last time that she gets to speak to him, to her husband. He is in some hotel room with some white woman in the midst of the Civil War. Like, do you not realize that white people were spitting on us back then? Like, you try to justify, in today's time, right? We try to justify sleeping with our oppressor because we say, well, you know, racism is abolished. There isn't no racism. White women love us. You try to justify it. They were spitting on us back then. They were spitting on us and calling us nigger and sicking dogs on us and hosing us in the street. Imagine that. Imagine you at the rally and you see some white woman and she's calling you nigger, nigger, nigger. And then that same night, MLK is in her bed, tearing fire to her behind, and he's screaming, what? One more time.
I'm not a Negro tonight.
Said, I'm not a Negro tonight. I'm not like them niggas. I'm not like them. I'm something different right now. And that's what you fought for. Keep going.
It's like you. With this, right?
God.
On January 6th, 1964, FBI men installed, so let me switch this. FBI men installed microphones in King's Washington, D.C. hotel room and turned on the tape recorder. According to officials who heard the tapes, King that night betrayed his wife, Coretta, not for the first or the last time.
Good night. They said he betrayed Coretta, not for the first or the last time. Meaning Martin Luther King won't new to this. He was true to this. He was not a Negro multiple nights. There's a lot of nights that Martin Luther King wasn't a Negro. But when he was sleeping with Coretta Scott, you know what he was? He was just some Negro sleeping with some dirty nigga,
right?
Some nigga woman. It wasn't appeasing for him,
right?
You understand, to be sleeping with someone with brown skin, like the damn skin on him. Right. It wasn't appeasing. But of course, when he's with that white woman, he's not a Negro then.
Right.
He's something special. Keep going.
John. Not for the first or the last time. Shouting amid his most private activities. I'm effing for God.
He said, what?
I'm effing for God.
He said, I'm effing for God. As a matter of fact, go to that video I sent you, man. This is who Martin Luther King is today.
Okay, there's a video you sent me?
Yeah, it should be another one that I sent you.
God.
He said that I'm effing for
I got
God.
the interview?
Nah. It was
the Insider?
No, I think I might not have.
Pastor Spitting?
Yeah. That one. This is who Martin Luther King is today, man. And it's funny, but it's real. It's real. Like we really just celebrated this man who he was so profound in saying that he was not a Negro. Like, that is that not treacherous? Is that not treason? If you are a Crip and you go into prison and they ask you what you bang, cuz? What you bang? And you say, I ain't a Crip.
Right.
What is that? Is that not treachery?
God.
Is that not being a traitor to something you are? He said, I am not a Negro tonight. He's not us. What do we do? What do we call it? Canceling?
Right.
Martin Luther King should be canceled.
That's right.
he should be canceled because he's not a Negro. It's not our words. You understand? We're not even saying. I know. We are code. We are code, and we just hate everything. We hate everything down to boiled eggs. But this isn't our words. He said it. Martin Luther King said, "I am not a Negro tonight," as he had sex with some white woman. Martin Luther King should be canceled. You understand? And then he went on to say, read it one more time. Because I'm going to say the word by accident.
Right. Amid his private activities, I'm effing for God.
He said, what?
I'm effing for God.
He said, I'm effing for God. Oh, good. This is a proud bastard.
That's right.
This is a proud. You would think he would just be quiet. Like, you would think in his mind he would be having sex with that white woman like, what am I doing? Like, this is not good. I shouldn't be doing this. Having some kind of resentment to this thing. Like, he's fighting against white people for his brothers and his sisters. And he's seeing white women all day spit on them, call them niggas and Negroes. And he is proud. He is prideful in him sleeping with some white woman that says, I am not a Negro tonight. This one? I don't even know if we're done with it. Is there any more on that?
Just I'm not a Negro tonight again. And the police saying you're done.
Can we keep it up there or we got to delete it?
No, I can just minimize it.
Yeah, because I think we want to go back to that.
But now you want the pastor, right?
Con. I'm hoping that some Christian comes in this class and says something about Martin Luther King. I'm hoping. Matter of fact, I need to get me a shirt that says Martin Luther King is not a Negro.
Right.
You know how people get mad because we say Bob Marley's white?
Right.
We need a shirt that says Martin Luther King is not black.
Right.
So people can say, what? What are you talking? Read.
Right.
I am not a Negro tonight.
Night.
That's what needs to happen. We need to get a shirt that says Martin Luther King is not black because he said so. He said it out his own mouth that he's not a Negro. He's not like us. He's not like us. He is something else. I don't know what he is. He didn't say what he was. That would have been funny as hell if he would have. But I can imagine what he thought he was. Let's watch a little bit of this, man. This is what Martin Luther King is today. Such a disgusting bastard, man. He's such a disgusting. I almost called him the B word. Salagia. Just nasty, man. Just read this, man. I mean, show this.
Don't see it clearly yet, but you can't. And this is where most people would not face Jesus anymore. What most people would do is turn away.
Pause the video. Pause the video. Hold on 1 second. Is there any way of telling? Is this recent? Does it have a date on it?
I believe it. It's recent as far as I can tell.
Like, is this
Like days.
this days ago, right? There is a damn pandemic. We are living through a pandemic. Not only is this disgusting, this is not practical at all. This is not practical for no safety guideline in the like the what's the CDC?
Mm-hmm.
The CDC should like press charges against him. This is nasty.
I'm reading now. He apologized and said it was disgusting.
All right, hell no.
His brother is praying he don't do what he about to do.
I'll tell you about that brother. That brother did something wrong. He did something wrong in which he probably should have been taken into the authorities or to the police. And that pastor said, "No sweat, brother. This is what you're gonna do."
Right.
Play it, man. He said that he spit in his hand and said, "See, most people would turn away from Christ as if he's Christ, as if he is Christ." Good night. Keep going. Have you seen this already?
What I'm telling you, is just as he's physically standing here, knowing what's coming. God's saying, can you physically and spiritually and emotionally be able to stand when getting the vision or receiving it might get nasty?
Pause it.
I'm gonna say it in a
Pause it. Oh, wait, let him make his quote. Let's hold on, because maybe that was a mistake. He probably said something he really didn't mean to say. And it's a pause moment, right? Let's see if he corrects
point
it.
just like that. Receiving vision from God might get nasty.
Pause it. Go back to Martin Luther King. He said receiving vision from God might get nasty. What did Martin Luther King say?
I'm effing for God.
I'm effing for God. You understand? He's using God's name to be disgusting, to be the most wicked bastard on the face of the planet Earth. This is what Martin Luther King said. And this is what Martin Luther King has produced. Go back to the video.
I'm not ready for this.
This is receiving vision from God. This is the most homosexual explanation of a goddamn miracle I've ever heard in my life. He is trying to explain a miracle. He is trying to explain a miracle like Christ would have had done. But of course, Christ isn't a damn homosexual. This man is a homosexual and wants to have sex with him. He wants to have sex with that man. And this, you understand, this is him getting him ready. This is him getting him ready so that he can have sex with him. Just like you do with your fraternity. Just like you do in there. Before you laugh at this brother who is going to allow this to happen, just like you do in your fraternity. When they say, pull your pants down multiple times. Every activity has something to do with your pants being pulled down and something to do with your backside, whether it's smacking it or rubbing it across the floor. I remember one brother told me this. This brother right here goes to Central, right down the street. And this brother crossed over as a Kappa. Should I say his name? I shouldn't say his name, right? But I'm going to say his first name because it's funny. His first name is Christian. I got to say it. His first name is Christian. You thought it was going to be somebody you knew. His first name is Christian. And I remember this brother, telling us, that we was asking him like, yo, man, what y'all have to do? Like, what was it? Like, what you have to do when you cross? He told us, he said, it was one time they played tennis with us. And I was like, that's weird, but okay. I mean, I guess that's not bad. I would play tennis. I don't see nothing wrong in that. And it's like, nah. He was like, those little sticks that they be carrying around? Like, yeah. He was like, they made us like pull our pants down and scrounge up. And they would smack us on our backside and we would have to hop to the other side, turn around, and then let the other man smack us and then hop back to the other side like a damn ball. And I remember thinking to myself, and I'm like, so how many of them did you whoop? How many people did you beat up that night? Did they jump you? And I remember him just telling me this, and he was so prideful because I want to ask a question, right? But I'm going to just tell it to you. He was so prideful because he was effing for God. He was so prideful because he was getting smacked so that he can do something for God. Because this is what they tell him. They tell him that this is for a higher power, when really it's just them getting softened up so that one day when they say, "Hey, put this penis in your mouth," they'll do it. Because I mean, they get smacked on the behind all day. The pants are already down all day. So when they say, you understand, hey, come inside this room, man. You want to be a Mason, don't you? This is for a higher power. Put this penis in your mouth, Salakia. And they'll do it.
In this video, he wants to have sex with that brother. That could very well be true, but I believe that's his actual birth brother.
Good night.
Blood brother. He just
good night.
Well, we're gonna see in the video. Yeah, that's his brother apparently.
Good night. Good night. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Play the video.
You mean, God, I just bought, in crazy faith, I just bought my dream car.
Pause it. Is he not a homosexual? God, I just bought in crazy faith.
Oh,
question. I just bought my dream car. Who says that? My dream car. Like, you can see it.
right.
You can sense the homosexuality coming up off of him, man. He is talking to men. In crazy faith. What the hell is crazy faith?
Right.
What the hell is that?
So
There's levels to it.
Right.
You got faith, and then you got crazy faith.
Right.
You got a little bit of faith.
Right.
What the hell are we talking about? Go ahead,
Salaki,
man.
if I may, would you
And
bring
crazy
out,
faith.
God, this is really a very vicious thing, like you said, like what he's doing, and to have that up on the screen. He didn't try to hide it and it's like pause, like slip it in there. Just he put it up on the screen. He told his engineers, his sound guys, and his internet guys, make sure it says receiving vision from God might get nasty. Now, how is that supposed to be interpreted? Because now some child sees that. Some child sees that when they watch him, his sermon in the crowd or on TV or whatever. Receiving vision from God might get nasty. And when some grown man comes to them and they do something to them that in their mind, well, it's nasty. We're not supposed to get naked in front of people. We're not supposed to do certain things. And they say, no, you remember what Pastor said, receiving visions from God. Well, this is the Lord. Put the two together. We doing this for God. God is all love. So what I'm showing you is God's love. Well, how are they going to differentiate it? You taught them that it's nasty. That God and nasty go together. Salaki.
Them kids are going to read that. And these pastors are going to molest those children. And then those children are going to be traumatized. And that pastor is going to tell them to let that trauma mold you into who you are now. That's what's going to happen. They're going to say, let whatever traumatized you mold you into being a stronger man. Change you into being something greater. When really it is hurting. And that man is going to molest someone's child, man. This church is a disgusting place. This is Christianity. This isn't anything else. This is a Christian pastor teaching or preaching to a Christian church, man, saying receiving vision from God might get nasty. Keep going. I almost don't want to, but
and now you're going to ask me to sell it back and ride in the hoopty again? Yeah, because the vision I'm about to give you, it might get nasty.
Pause it, brother. Good night. Good. He said, go back to riding in the hoopty. Play it, man. Let's finish it through. Good night.
And do you hear and see the responses of the people? What I'm telling you is how you just reacted is how the people in your life will react. When God is doing what it takes for the miracle, what are you saying? This man was blind. And what he was trying to do with this man is give him his DNA.
Christ is going to kill him. You understand? Christ is going to kill him for blaspheming his name. Christ didn't spit in his hand and wipe his spit onto the man. Christ spit in the dirt and made clay. He made clay and rubbed the clay on the man's eyes and told him to wash his eyes out and then he could see. But he is using some gay metaphor to describe what Christ did, which was an actual miracle. He just put his spit in this man's eyes and did nothing but give him AIDS. He did nothing but give him a sexual transmitted disease. Where is the miracle? This is stupid. He's not even blind. Why would you have to do this to him? This is dumb. You get me over. This is dumb. He's not blind. Why would you have to do this? Let's end this, man. You want to do it? Go ahead, man. Yeah, no, I don't even think I want to see that no more, man. Let's go back to MLK.
Read this again?
Yeah, read that one more time, man. This man put spit. And look, and this is what you gotta realize, right? Stories like these, right? It's nasty, and it's like, wow, what the hell? I didn't think that was happening. This is happening everywhere in every church. Do you realize the power that pastors have over the people that come to his congregation? The power that he has so much power in them that they go every Sunday. Every Sunday they go and spend all the money they have to keep the lights on and to keep the Louis Vuitton, you understand, coming into his closet. Pause. They pay every Sunday for this man. That's how much power that they have. You can only imagine what else is going on. This happened to be a big time pastor, big church. What do you think is happening in those little churches where the cameras are turned off? What kind of miracles do you think that they're performing there? You understand? You know who else used to perform miracles? Our oppressor. When he would put his feet on our backs when he was sick to rid the sickness from him and transfer it to us. That to them was a goddamn miracle. To have a little black boy come lay at his feet, and while he's sick, he sits all day with a glass of lemonade while some black boy lays on his stomach, and he puts his stinking feet on his back to transfer the sickness from him into that boy. You can imagine what's going on in these churches. What other miracles are they performing? Good night. What did Martin Luther King say?
Salakia.
Or just read it from King that night.
God. King that night betrayed his wife, Coretta, not for the first or last time, shouting amid his most private activities, I'm effing for God.
I'm effing for God. Keep going.
And I'm not a Negro tonight.
Oh my God. This brother, this brother comes straight out of a comic book. This brother is terrible, man. Keep going.
God. Later that year, agents anonymously shipped King a highlight recording of Bug sex groans and party jokes, along with a letter warning him, you are done. There is but one way out for you. You better take it before your filthy, abnormal, fraudulent self is bared to the nation. They called it the suicide package.
So after all of these orgies and rapes and sex parties that MLK had, eventually the FBI had enough evidence on him that they was going to ruin him by putting all this information out. The actual recordings of if you go into the archives of the FBI, some of these letters and some of these the findings that the FBI had with their investigation, some of them have been released, but everything like the actual recordings have not been released. They will be released in 2027. They will actually be completely released so that the world can listen to what they had on this filthy bastard. But what they had there was enough. Him saying, I'm effing for God and I'm not a Negro tonight, and him getting caught in hotels, running in lobbies butt naked, and him sleeping with all the white women he could find, that was enough for them to put that information out and ruin everything that he had been trying to do as a leader for black people. You understand? And so when he got this letter, shortly after Martin Luther King got this letter, he put out that what was it? Was it an interview or was it just a speech? I think it was just a speech about the mountaintop.
A word?
I think it was a speech it was something along the lines of my people will make it to the mountaintop, but I may not make it. It's something along those lines. I think that's it. I think he said, my people will make it to the mountaintop. However, I may not be there with you. You understand? And people started to use this to say that what? that Martin Luther King was a prophet. That he prophesied his own death because he said that. When the truth is what? Martin Luther King knew what was coming because the FBI told him. They told him that they were going to kill him because of how disgusting he was and that they had the proof. They had the evidence of how disgusting and how filthy he was. So now they was going to end his career if he did not stop preaching. Of course, Martin Luther King didn't stop preaching. So in Memphis, they shot him. He's dead. You understand? He's gone. Is that it on that? Or keep going?
So like, I think on a scale of things you can do to potentially doom a movement, this beats walking down the street and telling the world, "I'm proud of who I am." Negroes need to get serious.
Who is it saying this?
I can never pronounce it. Ta-Nehisi Coates.
This man said,
or Coates or something like that.
This man said Negroes need to get serious. I agree. We're celebrating Martin Luther King is terrible, man. He's not even black. He's not even black, man. He said it himself. I can't get off the fact. Martin Luther, say it one more time. What did this out of Martin Luther King's mouth? He said this.
I'm not a Negro tonight.
He said, I'm not a Negro tonight. That's Martin Luther King, man. I don't understand what it is that we're following. I don't understand what it is that we're so in love with. You understand? There was one more video, I think, Baba Kushah.
Yeah.
And who else did Martin Luther King betray, man? You understand? Martin Luther King didn't only just betray Coretta Scott. He also betrayed all blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians.
That's
man.
right.
He betrayed all of us, man. Even with the March on Washington. What is the March on Washington even about? Do we know? Someone type in the chat what the March on Washington is about, or what they said it was about. What did they say the March on Washington was for? Why did people come from South Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, South and North Carolina, and Georgia, Louisiana? Why did people march from the South all the way to Washington, D.C. to march on Washington? What was the point of them doing it? Why did they why do we teach when you get taught in history class and Black History Month? What do they say the March on Washington was about? I'll give you a second to try to answer. Anybody got it online? They say that the March on Washington was about equality. That's what they teach. They teach you that Martin Luther King marched for equality so that Mexican people and Black people and Native American Indian people and poor people can have equal rights. When that is a goddamn lie. That is a lie. Martin Luther King's March on Washington was not for equal rights. It was not for equal rights at all. Martin Luther King's March on Washington was for Black people to get jobs, which is more practical. That was it. It was for Black people to go to Washington and to get jobs. Nothing else. That is the reason why people walked from Louisiana and walked from Mississippi all the way and travel all the way to Washington. It wasn't so they can hold hands and march for equality. They can do that in Alabama. They went up there to find jobs. So where are we getting the story that Martin Luther King's March on Washington was for equality? Who the hell taught you that? Who the hell teaches us that? And the second that you realize that this is what we've been believing our whole lives, then you'll start to realize that someone has been lying to us, man. Someone has been lying to us about this disgusting man called Martin Luther King who has sex with white women and says, I'm not a Negro tonight. You know how disgusting that is? For him to sleep with someone and say, I'm not Black tonight. And you know what that says about you. What does that say about you being a Black man in America? What does that say about you being a Black woman in America? When a man that you worship and you hold his day holy, he sleeps with a white woman and says, I'm not a Negro tonight. That means that you're nothing. It means that being Black is nothing to Martin Luther King. But yet we hear about Martin Luther King and we, oh my God, in astonishment. And he hates you.
Right.
Martin Luther King actually hates the fact that he's black. But of course, we look at him like he's a god.
Right.
Martin Luther King is some kind of hero for black people. Meanwhile, he is, read it one more time, please.
God.
This is Martin Luther King's own words. You can Google this. He said this himself.
I took it down, but I can say it again.
Read it one more. Say it one more time.
I'm not a Negro tonight.
He said, "I'm not a Negro tonight," and he's doing what? This is what he said. His words.
I'm effing for God.
He said, "I'm effing for God," as he's sleeping with that woman in that hotel room. Martin Luther King's march on Washington was not about equality. It was about people marching for jobs. The whole march was funded by the United Auto Workers Union. You understand? Which was so that more people can have more auto making jobs in those big factories up in Washington, up in Detroit, and have more jobs for black people. It wasn't about equality. So for us to think that his march was for equality, it's asinine. It's stupid. It's dumb. But of course, Christianity would have us to believe that that is what that's about. It's not what it's about, which is why shortly after the March on Washington, Washington, D.C. became what? Chocolate City. Washington, D.C. became Chocolate City because of all the black people who had moved from Louisiana, from all the black people who moved from South Carolina and Georgia and Alabama, Mississippi, who went to Washington to find jobs. They went to Washington and they stayed.
Right.
They didn't go back home.
Right.
They stayed in Washington, thus Washington being deemed Chocolate City. It was a point in time when Washington used to be one of the blackest places in America because of this. So how in the hell do we then turn it in and say that Martin Luther King, it was for equality? It wasn't. Martin Luther King didn't want equality. Martin Luther King wanted to sleep with white women and then say, "I'm effing for God and I'm not a Negro tonight," while he's doing it. You understand? Get that other video I pulled, that last video, the interview. We're gonna let Martin Luther King say it himself, because of course we're crazy. We're crazy in this black cult. Meanwhile, I forgot to mention this. We're crazy in the cult. Meanwhile, in the Christian church, y'all are allowing the Christian pastor to spit in his hand and rub it all over your mouth.
Right.
But we're the cult. Ain't nobody spitting in their hand and rubbing it in my mouth anywhere.
Good night.
You understand? That is disgusting. That is homosexual. That's Christianity, man. Go to timestamp, I think 250. Timestamp at 250. And they give me Romans 10 and verse 3.
Count.
Come.
The just society. And it was my feeling then, and it is my feeling now, that violence is certainly much more.
Yeah, that's straight.
The white community having a monopoly on violence, that if you had tried violence, they would have met it with violence. It was the only device open to you, wasn't it?
Well, I'll put it another way.
Pause
That,
it. Because the interview is being small, right? The interview is low-key cutting him, right? He's saying, well, some people would say that, your peaceful protest wasn't necessarily because you chose that. It was because you didn't really have a choice. You understand? If you tried to be violent, we would just kill all of you, basically, is what he's asking them. And so this is how he's responding.
I was led to nonviolence because I felt that it was the best moral way to deal with the problem. We were seeking to establish a just society.
Pause it.
And it was my feeling then.
Now, Martin Luther King was a Christian pastor. He used this book to what would you call it? To push his movement, right? He used Christianity, he used the Bible to push his movement. He's in a church. He's in a church right now. This is after the March on Washington. And he's in a church. And he just said what? He said that he felt that peaceful protest was the moral way for us to succeed in this battle against of racial injustice, right? He said he felt like this was the best way. He believed that this was the way that we should go. Read Romans chapter 10 and 3.
Shlaki.
Mm-hmm.
The book of Romans, chapter 10 and verse 3.
Uh-huh.
For they being ignorant of God's righteousness.
For they being what?
Ignorant of God's
Martin
righteousness.
Luther King said he felt that he should do this. But Martin Luther King was what?
Ignorant of God's
He
righteousness.
was ignorant of God's righteousness. He was ignorant into what the Most High wanted. You understand? Keep going.
And going about to establish their own righteousness.
He going about to establish his own righteousness.
That's
man.
right.
He said that he felt that this was morally correct to him. He said, we did this because I felt this way.
Right.
That's what he just said. He didn't say because he read in the scriptures like a prophet would do. He didn't say that. He said because I felt this way. He didn't say because back in the book of Matthews, Christ did this. He didn't say Paul did this. He didn't say Jeremiah did this. He said because I felt this way. Keep going.
Shalakia.
Mm-hmm.
Have not submitted themselves
Uh-huh.
unto the righteousness of God.
He has not submitted himself unto the righteousness of God. So what does that make him? That makes Martin Luther King a traitor, man.
That's right.
If he's not submitted unto the righteousness of God, then that makes him a traitor to the Most High. And that is who we're following. We're following a goddamn traitor that makes men weak.
That's right.
What you got?
So, Laki, what you bringing out is heavy. I might have to make a comment on Facebook about this because that's you don't even think about it, right? But it's like you learn about it in school and you do the research and it's there, and we never think about the fact that it's like a known fact that Martin Luther King's peaceful protest was inspired by who? Mahatma Gandhi.
Right.
It's a known fact. It's not debatable. Everybody knows it. I think he said it himself.
Right.
It was inspired by Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi was a practicing Hindu.
Right.
Like a practicing Hindu. He lived his life. He was a vegetarian. He
didn't
was a
kill
Hindu.
flies.
Right. All of that. And that's who you're inspired. You got that from. So that means you knew this. Like you said, he didn't get it from the Bible.
Right.
You parading yourself as his pastor. You got a Bible in your hand, just like old boy with the spit.
The spit man.
Yeah, the spit man. You got
Pastor
a Bible in
Spit.
your hand. Yeah, Pastor Spit. You got a Bible in your hand. You in a church talking God, 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 but you doing something that ain't nowhere in the Bible. Somebody told you, yeah, spit in your hand and rub it on the brother's face in front of the congregation.
Good.
Humiliate that brother.
Completely.
Lock you.
Completely, man. And the fact that he even had to go back and apologize to show you how humiliating it was.
Mm-hmm.
Like forever. If I see that man in the street, I'm going to refer to him as the man who allowed the pastor to put spit in his face because I don't know his name. And I'm going to say, hey, are you okay? He going to say, do I know you? I'm like, no, but I know you. You the man who let the pastor put his saliva all in your face, Why'd you do it? You understand? Like, that's embarrassing. That is embarrassing to be known as that.
So lock it, but you bring out heavy metal because really, in an alternate universe where things went right, there's a viral video going on somewhere in an alternate universe where it says man beats up pastor from spit in his face.
Which is what should have happened.
Right.
Which is what should have happened. Because if I was even my spirit now, man, if I was in a Christian church, I'd have went up there. I'd have been listening. I'd have been listening to what he's saying. I would have heard him spit in the hand. I'd have been like, all right, this must just be part of, like, you understand? But you remember like when you was kids, when you used to be like, you used to tell your friends, like, I got the force. And then you'd be like, how you got the force? And they'll do this here. They'll like fake lick their hand and then put it in your face. And you like back up. I remember kids used to do that, man. But the second that he actually touched me, I would have smacked the hell out of him.
Right.
Like it would have been on and popping at that second. Cause I would have been like, ain't no way, nigga, ain't no way you actually just put spit in my face and rubbed it in. Like, you understand? You rubbing it in, spitting in somebody's face is like one of the utmost disrespectful things you could do. This man just rubbed his saliva, and he did the whole, all of that, gouging it up. He did all of that, man. The mucus and everything, son, and rubbed it together and rubbed it on his. That's a coat, man. That is a coat. That's right. That is a coat, man. And I don't know no other coat other than that, man. And you know what's funny? One of my rib be watching that video, that show Ruthless. That looked like this show. That looked like that Colt movie with that man who can do anything he wants, and everybody just looks at him like he's the god, even though he's doing wild things, outlandish, unjustifiable acts of nastiness, and everyone looks at him like he's a god. That's disgusting, man. And this is what is produced because of men like this. You understand? He's searching his own righteousness, man. His own righteousness. And that pastor's own righteousness was to be a homosexual and to turn men LBGTQ. I gotta watch my words. You understand? To turn men LBGTQ. And the ISUPK, we don't turn men LBGTQ, man. We don't do that. We teach men to be strong, man. To not allow some man to put spit all in his face, man. We don't teach that in here because in the Christian, it's so prevalent in the Christian church. As a matter of fact, give me 1 Corinthians chapter 11. You understand? That's not in the Bible, man. For a man to be that way, for a man to just be so nasty, man, and so weak, to let a man spank you on your behind, to let a man tell you pull your pants down, get pumped. I remember, I'll tell this story. I remember my father, he probably ain't gonna let me tell this story, man. It's a lot here, but this is the truth. And this is, I remember my father was telling me he was doing something, right? And a brother came and tried to pluck a hair off his chest. And he told me after he plucked the hair off his chest, he tried to choke the life out of him, and that was it. That was the end of that era in his life. Of course, he wasn't in the truth at the time.
Right.
But that showed me that him telling me it was almost like, yeah, we're not gay.
Right.
That could never be me. I could never lay down on my back and allow a man to put an egg into my mouth from his mouth and swallow it. I could never do it. I could never pull my pants down and hop to the other side of the room and hop back like I'm a goddamn tennis ball. I could never allow some stinking anybody to put spit on their hand and just rub it on my face, man. You understand? And that is not what the Lord is trying to raise up. The Lord is trying to raise up strong, man. Read verse 7.
Con, this is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 7.
Uh-huh.
For a man indeed ought not to cover his head.
The Bible says a man indeed ought not to cover his head, man. You understand? This is what he shouldn't do. Keep going.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
For as much as he is the image and glory of God.
For he is the image and glory of God, man. What that man just did to him was emasculate him.
That's right.
That wasn't the image of God, man. He ain't supposed to be weak like that. He ain't supposed to let things like that happen, man. You understand? To be emasculated by another man, to put himself, and what he just did was he made himself, he didn't do that. You understand? To that brother to heal him or to teach him a lesson. He did that so that he can make himself feel empowered, so that he can make himself feel like he has power. And so he says, what? Stand right there and let me spit in my hand and rub it on your face so that he can feel empowered, man. You shouldn't be doing that to no man. You understand? That's homosexual. You shouldn't be doing that, man. Keep going. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But the woman is the glory of the man.
Man, that woman is under you, man. That woman, you want to do that nasty stuff, do it with your rib at home, man. You take that home
Right.
to a goddamn room with her. You understand? Treat her like she's a woman. But you a man, you understand, his image is of the glory of God, man. He's supposed to be strong. He's supposed to, what do you think Christ would say looking at that brother with spit on his face? What do you think he would say? Brother, what you think Peter would have did? What you think? Peter would have seen that hand coming and that hand would have been in the crowd. That hand, they would have been throwing that hand back in the crowd, messing around with Peter, man. You understand? It's disgusting, man, and it's weak. Keep going.
Verse 8. For the man is not of the woman,
Uh-huh.
but the woman of the man.
But the woman of the man. You should learn how to be a man, man. And that's what Commander General Hanna teaches in the ISUPK,
right.
man. How to be a man. How to not let things like this happen. You understand? I don't think I could have even been in there and this would have happened. I would have had to walk up to the front and say, you are disgusted. I would have said some real mean words that I can't say right now, that I can't say on live. But I would have had to, man, because that is nasty. That is what has come because of men like this. You understand? Where was we at before that? Yeah, go to there's another. Yeah, finish playing that real quick. There's another timestamp. That is disgusting, man. I ain't never thought in all my years I'd see a pastor put spit.
That violence is certainly much more socially destructive, and it creates many more social problems.
Go to 22.
than it solves. So I was led to nonviolence for deep moral reasons. Now that
He's
about
coming up with
that in
his whatever he's doing, destruction of black people, saying that violence is morally destructive to black people and is going to destroy the country as a whole. He of course uses the war in Vietnam as an objective reason why violence is not supposed to be held, because people are already becoming violent because of the war, which is complete nonsense. He's basically teaching you that because our oppressor is having problems in a different country, we should just calm down because he's already a little mad. He's already a little upset. So we should just, just be peaceful. Don't bother him too much because he's already bothered with this war in Vietnam that has nothing to do with us at all. Then we should just, continue to turn the other cheek and just be wiped out completely, man, by our oppressor. Read what you got. Play that.
Of course, decision to be in the march on Washington meant a great deal. It was a high moment, a great watershed moment.
Okay, so now you're asking about the march on Washington.
That dream that I had that day has at many points turned into a nightmare.
Good.
Now, I'm not one to lose hope. I keep on hoping. I still have faith in the future.
Play that one more time. He said that dream that we once had turned into a nightmare. This is who you follow.
It was a high moment, a great watershed moment. But I must confess that that dream that I had that day has at many points turned into a nightmare. Now,
he said that dream that I have had and that day has turned into a nightmare. You understand? Because he realized that what he was doing was not going to work. It wasn't going to work. You understand? The same way the Black Panthers was not going to work. The same way the Nation of Islam was not going to work. The same way the Christian church is not going to work. Or your fake Israelite group is not going to work, because the God of the Bible is not with you.
That's
you
right.
understand, in any of those things. The God in the Bible is not standing with you. You understand? And when you decide to go against these scriptures or to go around them, then this is what's going to happen. You're going to have to stand right there and say, it's not going to work. Malcolm X did the same thing. You understand? Malcolm X had so much faith in the Nation of Islam. In the time of the end of his career, he said what? He ain't really know. He ain't know what to do. Malcolm X became confused. He felt like they was being a traitor unto him because he found out that they was working with the Nazis and the Ku Klux Klan. He ain't know what to do, and that they were lying. And he was confused, man. And I'm sure if you'd have asked him, he would have said, man, I don't know. I don't know what the hell to do now. He should have gotten them classes in One West. That's what he should have did. He should have went and found them classes and sat down with them brothers. That probably would have saved him. You said what? He was? No sweat. Well, he should.
Just to say, he was. The school itself, like the actual,
was not established.
Wasn't
yet.
established,
but they was.
Them brothers was around.
Yeah, they was there somewhere.
Con.
They was setting up shop somewhere, getting ready to create the greatest school to ever walk on the face of the planet Earth, and he should have been with them. You understand? But instead, he wanted to be with them Muslims. them East Indians, whatever, not East Indians, Middle Easterns. You understand? And that I'm still trying to figure out, after all of this stuff is on the internet, why in the hell are we still following after this man?
That's right.
You understand? Play a little bit more.
I'm not one to lose hope. I keep on hoping. I still have faith in the future. But I've had to analyze many things over the last few years, and I would say over the last few months. I've gone through a lot of soul-searching and agonizing moments. And I've come to see that we have many more difficult days ahead, and some of the old optimism was a little superficial, and now it must be tempered with a solid realism. And I think the realistic fact is,
he said the old optimism was superficial and must be tempered with realism. You would think. Good night, man. Give me Jeremiah chapter 25 real quick, in 23 and verse 25. This is your leader. This is Martin Luther King, who screams out, I'm effing for God, and I am not a Negro tonight, as he's having sex with white women. This is you. We can't be saying, oh boy. Right. As many, like, you got to understand the love that black people have for this man, because they believe that he was all about blackity black business. And to hear him say, I am not a Negro tonight, as he's tearing the hindside of a white woman up. You got to imagine this dude was in there probably going crazy. Probably had a 40 in his hand or a bottle or something, just in there going crazy. I'm not a nigga tonight. Just do it. I'm effing for God. Just imagine having a room next door to MLK. Just imagine. And you just in there, I'm effing for God. What the hell is going on in there? And then you open the door for breakfast, and all you see is him just, good day, madam. And he goes down for breakfast, man. And then he goes and teaches. And Coretta, poor Coretta, man. Like, can you imagine what she had felt to know that her husband says, I'm not a Negro tonight.
Right.
And she has to sit there and say, but I am.
Right.
What you got, bro?
That's a lot of it, brother. I was just, again, so heavy, and people don't, I would say, like,
and not to cut you off,
okay,
right?
sorry.
This isn't even Israelite knowledge. Right. This is basic. Let me just Google. Right. Go ahead, man.
Any brother, we're all adults here, knows what it's like when you in that moment tying fire to some sister or some person that you wanted to tie fire to. And I can just, like, it's weird seeing it on paper or hearing me say it. But just imagine as a brother or a woman who's, been had fire tied to her. The moment, the excitement of the moment, how it be. And I could, like you said, I could just imagine that in that moment, he couldn't help himself. He was just having whatever came to his mind while he was having a ball was going to be said in the heat of the moment. He just couldn't. He was just like, I'm not a nigga. He said, I'm not a Negro tonight. I'm effing for God. And can you imagine a woman what she's thinking? She probably would say something back. Like, this nigga's tripping. Nigga, you tripping. Yo, that's crazy. Salakia. But we on the serious side, we look at him with the serious. We see this.
You messing me up.
Salakia.
Cause now I'm like, yo, this is a wild man. You understand? Like people be like, yo, that's a wild nigga.
Right.
That's a wild nigga right there.
Right.
Like what they be saying in DC? I'm like, yo, you a wild nigga. Yo,
Right.
you was wild. that nigga right here is wild, son. He's
Good
not. I can't
day.
even call him a nigga. He's not even black. Martin Luther King is not a black man. You know, I wish we still had it up there just so we could read it again.
I can put it
Martin Luther King is not a black man. He said it himself. He said, I am not a Negro tonight. He's something else. I don't know what it is, but it's not black. That's a wild man. And y'all got his picture in your house. That's terrible. Just go get Hitler while you at it.
Right.
Just go get Hitler. Give me some other crazy names.
Hitler,
Manson.
Andrew Jackson.
Get Andrew Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Get
What's
what's
his
the
name?
king? I think who's that other king who was? I think it was King Henry.
Leopold.
No, I think it was King Henry the VII,
Con.
or it was King Henry the VIII. You understand? Who was just such a disgusting king. You understand? Go ahead and just get a portrait of King Henry the VIII.
Right.
Put him in your house. Get Martin Luther King. Put him in there. Get who else? Hitler. Just get a picture. Why not?
Right.
I mean, damn. And you know what's funny, right? One of my first assignments in my semester last year in college was an assignment. I forgot what class I was taking, but it was 3 characteristics of 3 different people. But you didn't know who the people were. And one of them was like, he was like, I'm an alcoholic. I sometimes beat my wife, but I will not lie.
Mm-hmm.
I will not steal, and I will not kill unjustly. And then another one was like, I am a God-fearing man. I do not put hands on my woman. I do not drink alcohol. I do not use any drugs or any substance of any kinds. I do not believe in raping women. I take care of my children, and I'm a family man, and I believe in the development of my people. Mm-hmm. And then the third one was just like something terrible. Like, I kill people, I rape people, I stab, and I shoot everybody I see. And everybody was like, who do you think is the good person in this board? And of course, everyone picks the middle one. Mm-hmm. You know who that man was? It was Hitler.
Wow.
That came from his bibliography.
Wow.
It's him.
Interesting. Damn.
Martin Luther King's not black.
Right.
He's something else. I don't know what it is. Hopefully I'm waiting for 2027. I can't wait. I'm gonna be on it. When the 2027 comes, I am on it. Release the tape. I'm gonna protest my damn self.
Right.
Release the tape. I'm like, damn, niggas really still looking for this?
Right.
Yes. I need to hear. I don't need to hear it, Salakia.
God.
But who knows what else was said, man? And that's so disgusting, man, for this man to say this, man. And this is your leader. This is who you worship. Even after death, this is who you worship, man. Where was we going?
It was Jeremiah chapter 23 and verse 25.
God.
God, this is the book of Jeremiah chapter 23 and verse 25.
Mm-hmm.
I have heard what the prophets said
Uh-huh.
that prophesy lies in my name,
Uh-huh.
saying, I have dreamed.
I have what?
I have dreamed.
Martin Luther King said what?
I have dreamed.
He said, I have dreamed that black boys
Right.
and little white girls can get together and scream in the bedroom, I'm not a Negro tonight.
Right.
Keep going.
God. I have dreamed. I have dreamed.
Uh-huh.
Verse 26.
Uh-huh.
How long shall this be in the heart of the prophets that prophesy lies?
How long should this be in the hearts of the prophets, man? How long are we going to be simple, man? The scriptures say, how long shall ye simple ones be simple, man? How long are we going to keep following after this beast, after this disgusting monster? And not even just him. These other Christian pastors, man, they are all the same. Do you not realize that every Christian pastor loves MLK? They all love him. They all teach him. You can't be a Christian and go against MLK. It's impossible. Even after you find out that he's effing for God, you still can't be a Christian and hate MLK, which is why it's probably so quiet. You can't hate MLK because God loves everybody. And of course, to Martin Luther King, God loves everybody. And so he has to bring everybody together. And what better way to bring people together than to be tearing fire to their behind
Right.
and saying that I'm not a Negro tonight. I'm something that should be respected. I'm a spectacle of what you once saw me. I'm not that nigga.
Right.
I'm not that black man that you met in the hotel room downstairs at the interview. I'm something else. And of course, that was Martin Luther King's dream, and it is foolish. It is stupid, and it is this dream that all Christians have, and it is a nightmare. He said it himself. He said it himself. Push play, Bible show.
We still have a long, long way to go, and that we are involved in a war on Asian soil, which, if not checked and stopped, can poison the very soul of our nation.
Dr. King, even if there had not been a war in Asia, would you still not have had this nightmare insofar as the Negro movement for equality then touched on two things that the white community holds sacred: their children and their property?
Oh, I have no doubt that we would have encountered great difficulties, great problems of resistance, if the war had not been in existence. So that I'm not going to say that all of our problems will be solved if the war in Vietnam is ended. But I do say that the war makes it infinitely more difficult to deal with these problems. When a nation becomes obsessed with the
He's a liar, and he's deflecting the question like hell. You understand? He's still mentioning the war being there when the white man is asking him, if the war was not here, do you not think that your dream would still turn into a nightmare? The answer is yes. The war has nothing to do with white people hating black people. The truth is that all oppressor hates you, man. And that is never going to change. There's never going to be a time in which your oppressor just grants you equality to his own, because that in itself is stupid. It's dumb to even ask for it. You understand? It's dumb. You don't go to your professor and say, hey, professor, man, me and you are equal, so let me get the codes to your laptops. Let me get access to the professor's lounge. Let me get the keys to your car since me and you are equal. You don't do that. So why the hell do you think that all oppressors are supposed to hand power down to you? That you're supposed to just be given power for nothing. Power comes with a price, and it's a hefty price that you pay in this place that we live in. You either have to sell your soul to him or you have to destroy your people, man. And that's the price you pay to get power in this place, man. Right. You understand? And that's the price that Martin Luther King paid. And he paid with his life and certainly, man. You understand? And that is the problem with Christianity, man. That is the only two outcomes you can get. You either destroy your people or you sell your soul, you understand, to the devil, and you become a goddamn homosexual bending over and being a goddamn tennis ball with your backside and letting someone spit on and rub spit on you and just be nasty, man. Just being disgusting. And ISUPK under Commander General Yohana, we ain't standing for none of that nonsense, man. We ain't standing for none of that. And I'm gonna end off on saying this. Martin Luther King is not a black man. That's right. He's something else. So until we figure that out, you understand, we'll see you back again some other time. But I'm gonna pass the class over to Preaching Officer Thabawan. Good night.
ISUPK security announcements. We are the ISUPK out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or a sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or a sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithe, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18 and 21 and Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. It means 10th in Hebrew and is pronounced ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy convocation will be the Feast of Purim, which begins on February 14th. More than likely will be held here at the Durham School. All right. More information will come out on that again in the following weeks. I want to remind Akim and Akwathin to check on social media such as isupk.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUBK events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he has to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirts, pants, headband, or scarf. And with that, I mod him, which means to stand.